Actually, I'm going to pause this while I draw.
Step number 1 is sketch the angle. Which is what we already did. Step number 2, drop an altitude to the x-axis. Underline x-axis. That means from the terminal side, drop an altitude, which is a height, down to the x-axis, and then you should be able to see a right triangle. Okay? Number 3, the reference angle. All day today we're going to be using reference angle. Is the acute angle. Because it's so attractive, it's acute angle. The acute angle formed by the x-axis and the terminal side. That's going to be our new theta. So our new theta. So the reference angle formed by the x-axis and the terminal side, that's our new theta. We're going to put that inside the triangle. That's the reference angle. So that's actually the angle that we're going to be evaluating the 6 trig functions from. Okay? All right. So we know from here to here we went -4 and then we went up 3. So we'll put in our -4. We'll put in our up 3. We'll put in our up 3. And then I need you guys to figure out the hypotenuse side, because some of our 6 trig functions need the hypotenuse side. Leah's already figured it out. It is? Is it +5 or -5?
Positive.
How do you know?
Because it's -4 squared, which equals 16 plus 9 equals 25. So what is there?
Equals c squared. Very good. So -4 squared is 16. 3 squared is 9. So c squared is 16 plus 9 or 25. Will the hypotenuse, guys, always be positive? Tell me that. When you're squaring? Yes, it will. Okay, so go ahead and put in that +5, okay? All right, now we just have to put our finger on the angle and evaluate all our trig ratios, okay? So we want sine of theta. We want cosecant theta. We want cosine theta. We want secant theta. We want tangent theta. And we want cotangent theta. Said it's not bad. You didn't believe me. Okay. All right, good for that? All right, good. Now, we're going to talk about how to find ordered pairs on the unit circle. Okay, so let's draw an XY axis. Okay. Now, if this is the center of the unit circle, gang, what's the radius of the unit circle? All the way around the circle is what number? The reason it's called the unit circle is because the radius is 1 unit. So now, don't we already know this ordered pair right here? If the distance from center to a point on the circle is 1, this ordered pair is 1, 0. Does that make sense? Okay. Joel, what's this ordered pair up top here? 0, 1. Thank you very much, sir. Miss Sierra, what's this ordered pair over here? Very good. And last ordered pair, 0, negative 1. Okay. Very good. Now, let's put another point on the circle. That ordered pair is x, y. The distance from the point x, y and the center of the unit circle is how many units, gang? 1. Because it's a unit circle. Okay? All right. Now, let's drop an altitude down. Let's make a right triangle. We know to get to this red ordered pair, we have to go right x units, and we have to go up y units. Now, does that make sense to everybody so far? Okay? All right. Think of this angle right here as an angle in standard position. So let's call it theta. If I want to find x, and I put my finger on theta, okay, I'm looking for adjacent from my finger. I know what, gang? Hypotenuse. So which trig function is adjacent and hypotenuse? Which one?
Cosine.
Cosine. So cosine theta equals adjacent x over hypotenuse 1. So isn't x over 1 x? So guess what we just found? We found the x value of this ordered pair. The x value of the ordered pair is cosine theta. So whatever theta may be, let's say it's 30 degrees. This x value of this ordered pair would be the cosine of 30 degrees, whatever that fraction is. Is that all right so far? Okay. Now I want to find y. So I'm going to put my finger on theta. Drew, from my finger, y is what word? And 1 is what word? Yeah, and which trig function is opposite and hypotenuse? Sine. So sine, by the word goes the angle. Sine of theta is opposite over hypotenuse. Now, isn't y over 1 just y? So guess what? We found out that every y value on the unit circle is sine of whatever that theta angle is. Okay. Tangents. Okay, very, very important. Here's how you find tangent. Tangent of theta equals sine of theta divided by cosine of theta. So that's how you're going to find your tangents. You're going to find the sine divided by the cosine. Okay? All right, first one, theta, negative 130. Draw theta in standard position. So initial side. Now, negative means we have to go clockwise, right? So 90. Now, how far past 90 is 130? 40 past. So now we have to go 40 past. Now I would put a 40 right there, so I know I'm 40 past. Draw your terminal side. Drop your altitude to what axis? X-axis. And the reference angle is the one inside the triangle. So guys, if a whole quadrant is 90 and this much is 40, what's left? 50. So reference angle equals 50 degrees. You don't care if it's positive or negative. A reference angle is always going to be positive. Okay? Letter B, theta. 5 pi over 3. Now it'd be great if we could do this without converting it to degrees, please. Please, please. 5 divided by 3 goes how many times? Once. And how many thirds left over? 2 thirds. So now we want an angle in standard position that goes 1 2/3 pi. Initial side here. We know all the way around, halfway around, from here to here is pi. Now we want to go 1 pi and then 2/3 of a pi. Is 2/3 more than half or less than half? More than half. Draw your terminal side. And it might help to put out here that this was 2/3 of a pi, that's 2 pi over 3. Drop your altitude to the x-axis. Put your reference angle inside. It's always the angle inside, not the angle outside. Now, I know you don't like working with fractions, but if all the way from here to here is 1 pi, and the outside is 2/3 of a pi, how many thirds are left for in here? 1/3 pi. So theta equals pi over 3. It is all students take calculus, right? Because you're all going to take calculus. All means everything, all the 6 trig functions are positive. S means in quadrant 2, the only things that are positive in quadrant 2 are sine and its cofunction. Quadrant 3, only trig functions that are positive are tangent and its cofunction. Quadrant 4, only things that are positive are cosine and its cofunction. Okay? So that's part of the process. Number 1, graph theta. So -2, 10. You guys want clock or counter? Clock? Good choice. Here to here is 90. Here to here is 180. How far past 180 am I? 30 past. So I might throw that 30 in my picture. Draw your terminal side. Everybody good? Step number 2. Find reference angle. Remember, all that means is drop your altitude to the x-axis, make a right triangle, never to the y-axis, guys, always to the x. And the reference angle is the one formed by the terminal side and the x-axis. So this is your new theta right inside there. Well, tell me this. How many degrees was theta? 30 degrees. So now we're not doing cosine of -210 anymore. We're doing cosine of 30. Now, how do we do that without a calculator? So how do we find cosine of 30 without a calculator? So step number 3 is get the trig value. And then check sine. Make sure you check the sine. How do you find it though?